Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Raw Recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'm your host, John Rocha, freezing my nuts off here in this studio, which is why I have a jacket on. Joined, as always, by the CEO of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin. How are you, man?
I'm actually not that cold.
You're not, but you're wearing a jacket, too.
Well, because I don't want to get cold, but, like...
Preventative measures.
Yeah. This Raw sucked.
Wow!
Strap in. You liked this Raw?
I would say I wasn't bothered by this Raw. This is going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh, this was probably the worst Raw I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
And you guys know me. I'm usually a very positive person when it comes to these shows. I was just dumbfounded by so many things. So let's just jump into it.
Do you mean storylines or do you mean action?
Everything.
All right, let's just jump into it. Vince McMahon comes out marching down, doing his thing. Vince doing his thing, coming out there, starts a whole promo, talking about the WWE Universe, talking about the stars and the shake-up, everything, and what have you. And then, boom, Roman Reigns comes out, interrupts him, and says, "You better watch your tone when you talk to me, boy. I'm a Superman punch you again."
And they've been doing that whole thing on social media over the weekend, too, where it was like, Roman said he was going to be on Raw, but then they said he's not going to be on Raw. Right. And then he said, no, I am going to be on Raw. Just have my music ready, which was very confusing. Yeah. But continue. Sorry.
I don't know. It bothers me that kayfabe on Twitter. I'm like, everybody knows this is a joke. None of this is part of the anyway, whatever. So he comes in, he does what he does, and then he says that he's not listening to Vince's kids anymore. He's listening to WWE Universe. Then Daniel Bryan comes out when Vince is crying about security and saying, "You belong on SmackDown. You went to SmackDown." Then Daniel Bryan comes out and he goes, "What is going on here? You're at SmackDown too." He says that Kofi shouldn't be champion, doesn't deserve to be champion, blah, blah, blah. Kofi interrupts. The fans go nuts. Kofi really working the fans so well as a face here on the top ropes, says all this kind of stuff. And it essentially sets up a matchup later on down the road. But first, he talks about this wild card thing. Please, Ryan, take it away with this stuff.
Well,
explain it to me. I was watching it. I'm like, what was the point of a shakeup if you're just going to let everybody jump brands?
I was literally sitting here with anticipation wondering, how is he going to explain this one? I love that he just dumped it on me instead, of course. Okay, so here's why. That's exactly why I didn't like it, is like, I don't like when they pretend... What's the right word? I don't like it when they act as though what we saw on TV for the past few weeks, or things that were made they made big deals about on television, and they just act like it didn't happen. Yeah. You know, like we had the Superstar shakeup. Then they had it last for 3 weeks because they weren't really sure where they wanted to have people going. Yeah. Then they finally solidify it, and once it's supposed to be done now, we hoped, right, they came up with this wild card rule, which pretty much invalidates the whole entire Superstar shakeup, in my opinion. Yeah. Maybe not so much the brand split, but I mean, it's getting to those waters. Right. I mean, like at a certain point, if you're having 4 people from each show going back and forth every show, then there's really no point of the brand split unless you consider the rest of the wrestlers on each roster secondary talent. Right. That's what it really feels like. What it implies. That's essentially what it implies. Yeah. Because after the show, they put out like an explanation of what it means. It's
never a good thing.
An attempt to put out an explanation of what it means. And I don't recall them saying this on the show, but it said that only a select number of superstars are going to be invited to be part of this wild card rule. Yeah. So it's not like all the wrestlers are open to just switch brands whenever they want. It's just going to be the top talent, obviously, who's going to be switching. So here's what it said. It said, a limited number of superstars from Raw or SmackDown will be invited to cross brand lines for one night only appearances. Pause. Does that mean, this is where one of my confusions comes. Does that mean the people who were on Raw this week that were from SmackDown cannot come to Raw the rest of the month?
That's it. You got one night. That's what it says. One night only appearances. Or does that imply that you're only going to appear that night, but you could appear another night down the road, but you're not a consistent performer on that night?
That's how I read it, because I go, there's no way if they're doing this, it was to only allow Roman to be on the show once a month. Right. Like, that's how I look at it. Yeah. And vice versa, or like to have Seth Rollins on SmackDown for a night, you know?
Just stop with the brands already. I don't think there's any point to it, Ryan, especially with the Fox deal coming here about this stuff. This is why they did this. It's a bit of a creative on the fly, but you're in essence, you're kind of like massaging the rules of things so that you can put your best talent or your most over talent on the big show of Fox and make sure the fans are watching and the ratings are up and the deal is worth it to you, right? And so this is what I find to be a bit disingenuous of them and doing this whole wildcard thing. So it just basically implies where you are on the roster. If you qualify to be one of these people, therefore you're up at the tippy top. Once you move down from being able to go multiple both brands, then you're not essentially top tier talent. That's what they're saying, or you're not involved in their storylines.
It's kind of how it reads to me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it says unauthorized jumps will be penalized with fines or even potential firing. And then and then in the article it says that this doesn't mean WWE is going back to the days of Raw Super Shows or ending the brand extension. So, I mean, to me, it seems like this is a sign of them that they're going to be ending the brand extension.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I don't think it's needed. I think that they have a plethora of talent right now.
Yeah.
And it's not that Raw or SmackDown are lacking in star power.
Right.
It's that they're lacking in continuity. They're lacking in interesting, compelling characters and storylines. Like, right now, the reason Bray Wyatt is one of the most compelling things on the show that people are looking forward to every week is because it's a layered character that people don't know what's going to happen. Watching AJ Styles and Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley, regardless maybe of the finish, but you know what's going to happen. Like, you know what kind of match you're getting into. You know what kind of match you're going to watch. And while it was good and we're going to get into it, to me, a lot of the things that were done on this show seemed like last week I chalked it up to post WrestleMania hangover because that's what it felt like to me. But seeing all this like ratings freak out online and stuff, to me it seems like this is a desperation attempt. It feels like, and if this is their move in a desperation attempt, that's scary.
Even Roman called them out in a kind of meta way, saying, hey, you promised all these changes. The changes aren't working or whatever.
Made me laugh because it's literally what we've been saying on this show for months. We were saying it like they said they were going to do this thing. It didn't happen at all. Why is everybody okay with it? So I like that Roman went out there and they scripted him to call them out. But once again, I don't understand I understand the short-term advantage to having a wrestler call out what the fans are complaining about online, but I don't understand the long-term effects of it because in essence, you're scripting someone to say that the people who are scripting this are bad.
That you're valid. To have these complaints online and these social media reactions to our product. You're valid. Because our top-tier talent who is jumping both brands is saying what you're saying.
Because he's worried that you guys can't handle the show without him. He's validating what everyone's been saying, and that's scary. And you got to look at this whole situation, and you got to look at creative. You got to look at the McMahon's and be like, look, you are responsible for getting this talent over. I think this is so scary to them because that Fox deal is right on the horizon. And if the ratings are going down, this could be sunken cost for Fox if they don't make this thing work effectively. Can they do it? Yes. I think there's a lot of intelligent people behind the scenes who are knowledgeable who can make it work. But it is a little worrying for them, and I see why they reacted this way. I don't validate it, but I don't think that look, I know that ratings are ratings. People will look at them, but I don't think that it's as troublesome as everyone is making it sound. Like comparative to the other shows on Fox, comparative to how much people are talking about it on a weekly basis in comparison to all the other shows on Fox. I don't think they have anything to worry about it. Fox is clearly ramping up to do what they do with WWE, what they did with UFC.
And with the Champions League, what they did for a while with soccer as well. They found a way to find viewers and product attention for it. This whole situation, though, with them is you're almost validated. That's what I think is dangerous here, is beyond the validation of fans' complaints about it, it's also saying to yourself, you're showing an overreaction to the situation. And I think it shows a bit of unsteadiness to show the overreaction, in my opinion. And you don't need to.
I agree.
This is wrestling always.
Yes.
The swells and downs, and downs, especially post-WrestleMania.
And there's not a lot of shows that are on year-round like this. You know, like I'm sure I don't follow soap operas, but I'm sure ratings in soap operas are very similar in the ups and downs comparatively to, throughout the year and stuff, because there's only so much you can do.
And just like wrestling, they bring back the big stars when they need them for the soap operas.
Yes. However, I don't think it's an excuse to put on an inferior show either.
That's true.
I don't think it's an excuse. I'm just saying, when you look at the ratings, I'm saying comparatively. Something I found interesting was that, not shortly, it was I guess a few hours before Raw went on the air, there was this tweet that Triple H liked on Twitter.
Oh shit.
And then people took a screen grab of it, and it went, and a lot of people saw it. It went all over Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if he was in this production meeting and did that on purpose, to look like an accident. Mm-hmm. Because this is what the tweet said. It said, it's someone who tagged Vince McMahon. And it said, at Vince McMahon, maybe the problem with the Raw and SmackDown ratings isn't due to the wrestlers injured. It's that you put confusing and pointless storylines. Although it wouldn't hurt if you gave your wrestlers insurance. Just a thought. And Triple H liked that. And then 20 minutes after everyone saw it, unliked it. I'm almost wondering if he was sitting in that production meeting what is happening? This is our fix? This stupid wild card rule?
There's no way Vince just walked out and came up with it on the fly, do you think?
Well, not in the ring, but
Right. But do you think Triple H didn't know about it?
No, what I'm saying is I'm sure in the production meeting, what I'm saying is when they were in the production meeting, it was everyone being this doesn't make any sense, probably, and Triple H being God, yeah, you're right, person. And then screen grab everyone who's oh, maybe you should unlike that. I don't know. I wonder. That's what I wonder.
What the fuck?
That's what I wonder. It was you can't roll.
That's my dad, Paul.
Because Stephanie's tagged in that too, so I'm sure she would have seen him it too and been what are you doing? So
we have kids.
But yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Entertaining wise, yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
The opening was entertaining. But I also look at long-term and just continuity-wise. There's another thing I'll harp on too about continuity later, but this whole wild card rule thing just really bothered me. It really did. I don't there's more things I'll bring up in regards to this wild card rule, so I'll explain. But yeah, it felt very much like Vince rolled in with I have the idea, and everyone was what? And he's nope, this is what we're doing,
And what can you do? When someone owns the company, they decide the way it's going to go. You got to go with it.
Yeah.
When you see this whole situation play out, you have Roman Reigns. McIntyre interrupts the thing. So then it's Drew McIntyre and Reigns later on, along with Daniel Bryan and Kofi. But not to be outdone, Rollins comes down. And of course, because if you have an R in your name, it's Monday Night R, whatever it is, or even Monday Night Jericho, Monday Night Rocha.
AJ came out first.
It's Monday Night Rocha. Why not? Yeah, AJ came out first. Said, all this kind of stuff that he's talking to Vince about where he went to SmackDown. And they brought his buddies over and talking about Rollins coming over to Raw and how Rollins all this kind of stuff. And then boom, Rollins comes out. The challenge is laid down, and I think furthering a heel thing that AJ is going through now. Did you like this kind of stuff?
Well, there wasn't a challenge. The tag match was made. This is where they made the tag match. Vince said you guys are going to be on the same team, not against each other.
Right, but they wanted the fight.
Yeah.
And then Vince, because they were taking their shirts off and walking around the ring. And then Vince said, no, there's going to be a tag match here.
Yeah, I did like it actually. But also I just felt like it made Vince look bad. It was Vince literally looked at AJ Styles and said, is this not making sense to you, this whole wild card rule? And AJ had this look of bewilderment on his face and then they cut away from him.
You're not supposed to ask me, man.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, I do think that it helped build towards AJ versus Seth. Mm-hmm. I think that it does appear to be laying the groundwork for an AJ Styles heel turn. This match that got booked, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I go okay, if this is a desperation move for ratings, like it appears, or something like that. Whoa, shit, ratings are going down. We need to do some shit differently to get.
There were some big matches last night. That's why.
WrestleMania rematches, stuff like that. I get announcing the WrestleMania rematches. I like Bryan versus Kofi rematch. Kofi versus Drew. Bryan versus Kofi. Drew versus Roman. Felt like their match didn't super deliver at WrestleMania, so I was kind of surprised they went back to that one.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that match later. But this match itself, it was a good match.
It was a good match.
It was a good match.
I'm telling you, Corbin is coming around, man.
But here's the thing. I think that I think that with you telling the fans that like Corbin was bad for ratings, it doesn't help putting him in there for 20-minute matches.
Right.
I don't care how good he is at this point. Like, I don't know if this is helping them look like I'm trying to think of the right words. I like Baron Corbin. I think this match was good. I just don't know if this is if putting Baron Corbin in long matches every show is the answer to making this show more interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's an entertaining person. I think he's a good talent. Like even the video that was posted on Twitter afterwards, I don't know if you saw it, it's hilarious. It's Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin cheering for themselves in the halls.
No.
And they're like, yeah, beat the Universal Champion, beat the Universal Champion. And they go up to some guy and they're like, hey, you, I just beat the Universal Champion. Yeah. Like, it was fun. I like it. I don't know if long Baron Corbin matches with like really athletic dudes like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles is necessarily going to make the show more entertaining for the people who are already bothered with it.
Well, we've been dealing with months and months of long Baron Corbin matches.
Yeah, I know.
And he's still not over. Are people coming around on him to enjoy his work in the ring? Sure, but they're not doing it overwhelmingly. And so to make it valid for you to keep coming back to this 20-minute Baron Corbin matches. I know you got to
especially when there's people on the roster who you could put in that position
exactly.
and give dedicate that much TV time to that people will be pumped about.
Right, exactly, which we'll get to. Robert Roode showing up finally after last week not being on it. But yeah, like as Ryan said, Corbin and Lashley defeated Styles and Rollins because Rollins delivered a kick to AJ, and AJ walked off thinking it was on purpose.
Yeah, that was the best part of this match.
Right.
Because I will say that most of the time, almost, I would say 90% of the time or more, when we see this scenario play out in a match, especially when it's face versus face, or face and face feuds, usually the other guy acts like he didn't mean to.
Right.
Which he clearly didn't mean to in this scenario. But I kind of liked the wrinkle of like, he didn't mean to, but then, I don't really give a crap.
Yeah.
You know, like
get over it.
I kind of liked it. It was like, not only get over it, but like later is, you know what, actually, that benefits me. Peace. And like walked out. It kind of helped because it wasn't like he fully walked out on the match at all, but it kind of made him seem smarter where it's like, wait a second. Why am I helping this guy?
Yeah, I don't need this.
I don't need this. I was just trying to beat him up. Actually, you know what? I just did. Great. Mission's accomplished. And I kind of like that little wrinkle. And I do feel like, AJ Styles has been the good old boy. That's been kind of his main thing this whole time. I kind of like this new, this like wrinkle of badassness to AJ Styles.
I do too. It's been long overdue. I know you said that heel AJ hasn't always worked, but maybe as an older performer now, he understands the beats a little bit better, and he can really embrace this kind of like pseudo heel, not full heel, but certainly pseudo heel character that he's developing here. And so I look forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole beat up AJ Styles, the whole beat up John Cena thing was much more jokey heel.
Right.
If they're gonna go full heel with him, I like that he's showing like a mean streak.
Yeah.
I like that, and I trying to think, if they could position him as the top heel on Raw, that could be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It could be like when Seth Rollins was the heel champion. Like I do think that they're getting me a little bit more than I thought with AJ Styles as a heel in the past, as I stated on here.
Well, it keeps him in the mix too, and for a long time, as you said months ago, AJ carried that strap, and the company was the face of the game. So like, this is a little way of bringing him back into the mix of the title.
And if they can properly position him as a heel that people are going to boo, he can replace Baron Corbin in those 20-minute matches, because they do need someone that's going to get booed.
Right.
So I understand that they put Baron Corbin in the 20-minute matches because they're putting him against people that they want to get cheered.
Yeah.
So Baron Corbin's going to get booed. So by proxy, you're going to cheer for the other person. I get that that's why Baron Corbin is in these 20-minute matches.
Right.
It's one of those things where like you're not going to get promoted at work until you train your replacement.
Right.
And so I'm not saying Baron Corbin should be training AJ Styles. I'm just saying that they need to have someone groomed for that position of one of the top heels that can be booed, basically.
Agreed thoroughly. But I enjoyed the match, so we'll move on. Sami Zayn came out and did his address. He did this whole thing, his new vignette, talking about the WWE Universe and everything, giving him all kinds of crap. And then we were wondering where this was going to go. And Strowman showed up. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be Strowman.
Neither did I.
And then he chases him outside in the back and finally catches him and throws him into a dumpster. which had shades of the Kevin Owens in the porta potty thing.
Did.
So I was like, oh, are we hitting these beats again? And I got to be honest with you, I didn't like it. I didn't like that Strowman came out and did this because I want Sami Zayn to have an equal person, and Strowman is so overwhelmingly an odds-on favorite that doesn't make it seem like a fair fight.
I also feel like you left out, not only did he throw him in the dumpster, but then like a dump truck came up and fully tossed him in the bin, taking him out with the trash. Interesting. Sometimes in this show, I feel like Vince has getting a little too meta, like on Raw lately. And this is one of the things I go like, was all of this done just for that, to show that like, you're trash if you want to leave WWE?
With either that or you're trash if you have complaints about the WWE.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what Sami Zayn was saying was complaining about the fans being entitled because the fans were upset about how things were going in the WWE. So he's complaining about the fans being upset about the WWE.
But also saying a lot about how his life would be better if he wasn't in WWE.
Right. But he's like, no, I'm not going to leave, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, killing two birds with one stone with Zayn. You go against the fans who are complaining about it, and you go against the wrestlers who are possibly going to AEW or complaining about the situations going on behind the scenes with their storyline.
That's how I watch this. Yeah. I could sometimes, as people call me out on social media for, I look a little too deeply into things, as you saw with the Dean Ambrose video or whatever. But like, I felt that way while watching it. Like I was like, is there more here, or is this just to kick off a feud with Braun Strowman? If it's just to kick off a feud with Braun Strowman, I feel like it wasn't done in the best way.
No, it wasn't.
Here's the thing. Once again, I very much enjoyed this segment.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun to watch. The look in Sammy's face of fear of Braun Strowman was entertaining. The stuff in the back when he's just throwing the bins and Braun Strowman saying, this has nothing to do with you, and throwing the bins at him. All entertaining stuff. Like, every party acted it appropriately and did it in an entertaining fashion. Yeah. My thing is the long-term effects. If I go like, you had just been getting... You've been working for weeks to get Sami Zayn over.
Yeah.
You get him over, people are into this thing, and then your reaction is to put the biggest guy in the company against him and totally obliterate him.
Yeah.
What was the point of the past few weeks of television? And that's my point of why I dislike this show, and it's going to come up a bunch. But to disregard the past few weeks of television is ridiculous to me. Like, I don't think anybody wanted to see someone like just completely obliterate Sami.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think we wanted this to spring into a feud.
Yeah.
Someone comes out, talks on the mic back, they go back and forth on the mic, then they start a feud, and this guy's like defending the WWE. Not just someone come out and just make him look like trash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's how anyone gains from this.
Yeah, and what's it gonna do? Zayn will maybe surprise Strowman and hit him a couple times with some stuff. It'll be Ambrose Lesnar all over again. It'll be the little guy doing his best against a big, overwhelming favorite. Maybe he'll get an occasional lucky disqualification victory, but it won't mean anything. And I think Zayn deserves a better program with a wrestler who can go toe-to-toe with Zayn. Strowman is a good wrestler. Obviously, he's a very strong dude, whatever, but it's power moves. He's not going off the top rope. He's not sliding, doing these incredible moves out of nowhere. That's Zayn's thing. So to me, I thought it was a big mistake to have it be Strowman. It just kind of demolishes everything he tried to accomplish.
And I get that. Mine is definitely more so in the fact that, like, I like compelling characters and interesting storylines, and having those two things combined, and combined to have something great that happens. And like, you have this compelling character in Sami Zayn that you've created the past couple weeks.
Right.
I don't know if the interesting storyline is to then just have him thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, you worked hard to get this heel to a certain place, and it's ridiculous because when he came back, he got defeated right away.
Right.
Then he went on all this whole campaign of everything, and then when he finally had to brush up with another wrestler again, he got thrown in the trash. And it's like, how are we supposed to look at Sami Zayn as a worthwhile competitor to anyone if that's how he's been treated since coming back?
Yeah.
That's my frustration with it. I was just like, you created this compelling character and then you threw him in the trash.
Right.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know. It's just bad writing to me.
Well, I just wonder if this is, like, a lot of shit goes on behind the scenes with WWE.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this was Vince's decision because some person came up with this storyline that was really good for Sami and was doing well and was catching on with the fans and maybe even mobilizing the fans a little bit to feel the same way as Sami was kind of complaining about, and even feel a way even more so. Because if you have the heel complaining about how the fans think about something, then you're essentially saying the fans are right to feel this way and the fans are the face in the situation. So hey, Sami Zayn was almost validating in an indirect way the fans' concerns about WWE, and I wonder if Vince was like, no, toss him in the trash. That's what I decide, to him in a dumpster.
I also wonder if it had anything to do, because when Sami Zayn first came back, he did an interview somewhere, and he said that the writer R.D. Evans had a lot to do with his first promo when he came back. And R.D. Evans got fired a WrestleMania weekend. And
really?
I wonder if it has anything to do with, like, that was an R.D. Evans thing. That's the guy. That's the writer who got fired during Bret Hart's Hall of Fame speech because he allowed Bret Hart to say Vince McMahon's name in the Hall of Fame speech.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
What happened here?
That was during...
Bret Hart's not allowed to say Vince McMahon's name?
Apparently Vince McMahon does not like when people say his name during the Hall of Fame speech.
Why?
And the writers are told this. And so in the speech, Bret Hart said Vince McMahon, and so he went back and he fired the writer of it. Well, the word goes... The story goes is that he was mad. He was like, you're fired. But then, like, that had happened before.
Yeah.
And then when they went back to him, like, no, let's smooth this over. RD was like, no, I don't want to smooth this over. I quit later. And, like, left. So
I'll take my unemployment. Peace out.
Yeah. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Vince just doesn't know what to do with this character because it's not something he was really involved in.
Nice, fair point.
I don't know that. That's a guess of mine, you know?
But that's an educated guess.
You know, just because I saw Sami say R.D. Evans helped him, and now R.D. Evans isn't there. So that's something I wonder. But at the same time, I hope they're not giving up because I really think this was a strong character.
Yeah.
If they just did this for a few weeks just to come out there and talk shit to the fans, that's bad.
Right.
That's really bad writing. That's bad. So I hope that they have something better planned for this than just like, well, that was it for this new character of Sami Zayn.
Yeah. And also Sami's the one that didn't go to Saudi Arabia, right? And that's coming up on the horizon too. I wonder. All right, anyway.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, getting him off TV before Saudi Arabia a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Lucha House Party action. Lucha House Party came and fought last night, I guess trying to kind of make up for last week when they were pretty much squashed and having them come back and destroy a no-name team. It did nothing. Absolutely nothing for them. I don't know why they did it other than to try to get the fans back behind them again, but it was a waste of time.
They also did Lucha House Rules.
Yeah, they did Lucha House Rules, which I thought were outlawed.
Were outlawed a few weeks ago, and they said nothing about it. They weren't like, oh, you know what? They decided Lucha House Party rules are back. No, nothing. They just were like, oh, yeah, you're all stupid. You don't remember that a few weeks ago we said this was part of the reason for low ratings, and that this is why the show has sucked, that they were allowing this to happen. They just acted like, am I crazy?
You're not crazy.
Am I crazy?
You're yelling and you're swinging your hands, and still I say you're not crazy. You are absolutely right for saying that, and it's just frustrating overall because, once again, massaging of stuff that we had seen a few weeks ago, saying this wasn't going to happen anymore. Now it's happening again because it's convenient to help this talent get back over with the fans after you creatively booked them to get destroyed by the Viking Raiders experience, whatever the hell they're called this week. The Purple Crush. You had them do this, and so to me, it was, once again, it's going. Nothing is real. Nothing, and I know it's scripted and it's fake and it's, but nothing is tangible. Nothing is credible. Nothing is consistent. Everything changes all the time, and it's frustrating because then you're like, there's no tent poles in the ground that we can hold on to because they always move week to week.
Yes,
and that's frustrating as a fan.
Yes, that's such a good way of wording it. And that is where my frustration lies. Last night, a former writer was giving me, a former WWE writer was kind of like, well, do you care if it's a good product? And I'm like, yeah, I do care because I watch week to week. And if I was watching any TV show and they just completely disregarded stuff they had been building up for weeks or storylines that were a part of the show, people would say something.
People have been about. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that.
Game of Thrones.
People have been saying that about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, people are going so upset.
I literally said that in my when I was writing back. I'm like, yes, this is how I would say this with any TV show. In fact, my timeline is filled with critics talking about the recent season of Game of Thrones and how they feel like they're force feeding and they're forcing things to happen because they only have so little episodes.
Right.
So they're completely disregarding some of these long arcs, character arcs, which, to be fair, I don't have a problem with, because I understand that there are only a few episodes left. I have not disliked this season of Game of Thrones like others, but that'll be for that'll be for his Game of Thrones podcast that he does for the after show. You can check that out on Collider YouTube channel. Sunday nights. He comes in here and does it from the office Sunday night. That's how much he loves you and Game of Thrones. But I'll digress.
Thank you.
Yes, that was how I was with it though. I would go like, what are you talking about? Of course I would say something. Like, people are saying something. People say about everything. Like, of course. And this is just like a complete disregard of something that it's literally like they were like, oh, that was 2 months ago. You think these idiots are going to remember something that happened 2 months ago? And you're like, yes, I do. I watch every week.
Yes, people watch every week.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that one when they trotted the Lucha House Party out there and they were doing their whole Lucha House Party thing and it was totally okay.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was so mad because it was like, you're just not going to tell me anything?
Well, just consistently through the whole show. Right?
Yes.
The changing of the rules.
3 superstars becomes 4 superstars, which is technically 6 people from SmackDown on the show. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I know numbers. I'm terrible with math. Math is probably like my least favorite thing in the world. And even I know that there wasn't only 3 or 4 people from SmackDown on the show last night.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a highlighted show.
Lucha
I
House
think
Party rules.
Ricochet versus Robert Roode. You complained that Robert Roode wasn't on last week. He is back. I thought it was a good match with him and Ricochet. They had nice chemistry. I don't remember if they fought in NXT. Did they before Roode left?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think that they did.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, my inclination is to feel like he left before Ricochet showed up.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so that was but this was a nice matchup. See, this is an equal matchup. You don't know who's going to win. Ricochet had taken the loss before to Roode a couple weeks ago, and now you have this rematch back and forth. Roode takes the loss this time. This is an enjoyable match. Okay, now it's a 1-1. Let's see what happens going forward. But at least you put on a great match between 2 people who are competitive and equal, and this is fun.
My whole thing, yes, I agree with everything you said there. However, and I hate to be Mr. Negative Boy today, but it's like, I'm all about like character development. And you introduced a new character 2 weeks, not new, but you introduced a refreshed, retooled gimmick of Robert Roode.
Right.
You gave him a big win over Ricochet.
Yes.
Then he was gone. Then he's back.
Yeah.
And he loses. Why are you supposed to care about Robert Roode now?
Yeah.
Like, what? That's my whole thing. Is
that's
like,
a good point.
What did anyone gain from that?
And you have him lose in quicker time than he beat Ricochet when he fought him 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
But yet we need a 20-minute Baron Corbin match.
Correct.
You could have given 10 more minutes to Ricochet and Robert Roode. That would have been fun to watch.
Yes, but just development overall, I just go like, wins, as much as Vince doesn't think they do, wins and losses do technically matter.
Of course they matter.
You know, and you go like, Robert Roode was this was supposed to be the new Robert Roode.
Yep.
New Robert Roode is already losing again, like the old Robert Roode.
Why isn't new Robert Roode, if he's supposed to be a heel, why isn't he taking out stuff from his trunks? Why isn't he holding tights to get the win? Why isn't he putting his feet on the rope?
There's a Money in the Bank contract on the line.
Exactly. Why isn't there more standard stuff done, heel stuff done by Robert Roode? He lost clean. He fought clean and he lost clean.
Fought clean, lost clean, did nothing to get his heat back afterwards.
Where's the heel? Right, exactly.
Like, and I'm just like, why wouldn't Bobby Roode just gotten himself disqualified there out of anger? Like he was about to lose, gets disqualified. Then you can at least stretch this out for a few more weeks before Money in the Bank, and you like, this is one of the storylines of like, will Robert Roode get in the Money in the Bank in the match, or will Ricochet? And they keep stretching out. That would have been way more interesting than just like Ricochet winning again. Like I love Ricochet. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I just go.
It's a great point, Ryan. This is a great point. You could have dragged this out another week. Right? Because if Roode gets mad and he gets himself disqualified, then there's a frustration factor, and then it's next week and it's a no disqualification match. And it's like, because Roode didn't want to lose the situation. So you have a no disqualification, then you can have a longer match. And whoever wins then comes out of this thing as the entrant into the Money in the Bank. It's a lot more fun and you have more stakes involved.
Yes. And I just think it helps with a new character you're trying to get over. Because if you're trying to get someone over and they instantly lose right after their one big moment, they're back to where they were. There's nothing, you've done nothing for them, except now he's got a mustache instead of a beard. And now he's got a man name instead of a boy's name. True. And it's just silly in my opinion. Like that's my problem. It's like, it's the continuity thing. It's we just saw this new retooled person. Why put him up against Ricochet anyway? if you're trying to get this new person over, put him against an enhancement talent. Put him against someone lower on the roster. I don't know, put him against Mojo. I don't know, something. I don't know.
You love Mojo.
I do like
You love Mojo. All right, let's move on to the ladies getting into this thing. Lacey Evans came out and I had one of those matches that we argued about last week, this idea of a squash match. Which
I love
people reacted strongly to it,
they did. There was a lot of back and forth on that one I saw. I
enjoyed that.
Most people thought I was right, though.
Okay, all right.
Wait, before we get into the match itself, what do you think about the backstage thing where she sent the letter to all of them, the letters to all of them?
Oh my God. I thought it's a nice move.
Okay.
I enjoy what they're doing with her. Like I said, I have no complaints about Lacey Evans' character as she was, now that they've gotten her involved. My issue was the walking the ramp crap.
Yeah.
That was driving me nuts. Give her something to do. And so finally they're letting her, and you know what? Lacey's stepping up to the challenge, and I really enjoy seeing that. You always want to see a good female heel, like you want to see a good male heel. She does a great job. If Alexa's not going to step into that void, then it's got to be Lacey Evans here in this situation. And so she does send the letter out. I'm surprised they showed up, but of course that's part of the storyline.
I loved what the letter.
I wouldn't have showed up.
I love the letter that it smelled like peach cobbler or whatever. That cracked me up. That was just a random mention, but it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you in that aspect. I think that you can see that she's gaining confidence by the week.
Oh, yes.
And you can see it like growing within her of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I like getting booed, as opposed to like, I like Alexa Bliss, but I don't ever feel like Alexa Bliss is the most confident person. I think in reality, like,
interesting.
I don't know.
She was a great heel.
Great heel. I'm not saying she was a bad heel. I just think I just feel like Lacey Evans exudes confidence.
Yeah.
She very much exudes like this thing because of her military background and all that kind of stuff.
But also it's character, right? I mean, like with Lacey, she's tall, she's strong.
Yeah.
She's muscular.
Yes.
It's really evident when you watch her in the matches now. It seems like almost she's been on a new regimen than from NXT to Raw, that she's really bulked up. And I don't mean like in an offensive way. I mean like bulk up like muscle-wise. Yeah. Right? With Alexa, she has to play the underdog all the time.
Totally.
The pouting heel, the running away. So it's supposed to exude that fear. And of course, when Ronda whips you around like a rag doll, it does mess with your confidence.
Yes.
And when you get a concussion and when you take weeks off, like that's going to affect. And so I hated that they marched her down. She's above this shit. It bothered me to no end. No offense to Naomi or Natalia or Dana Brooke. Like, Alexa is not in your category. Alexa is a multi-champion on multiple programs. So to me, this is not the same thing. These are
Naomi's a former women's champion.
Yeah, once, and Natty once, but she's done it from NXT to SmackDown to Raw.
Not NXT.
And she was a champion in NXT.
No, she wasn't.
Alexa was a champion?
She was a manager in NXT.
All right, fine. Well, she wrestled in NXT, did she not?
She did, and then she became a manager, and then
got into, okay, well, either way, she did at the top tier. She was multiple-time champion at the top tier, and so it's just weird to me that they have her down here with this, but you know what, it's TV time.
Well, they're all in the Money in the Bank, so it makes sense.
So, and then, Becky comes down, interrupts Lacey after she starts doing her promo, talking about how she's really happy they all came out here to see her. The what do they call them? What she called them?
Nasties.
The nasties and stuff like that. So, and then Becky comes out. The whole thing hits, the music hits, she drops the belts, runs in the ring, and administers a whooping on Lacey. And kudos to Lacey for not fighting back.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You take the beating, you come back up the ramp, you're a little more confident saying, we're going to see each other in the ring, blah, blah, blah. Very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked it. It's effective. I think that Becky looks like a badass in this feud. Honestly, this feud with Lacey has been great for her.
Agreed.
I think I felt like it was going to be great for her from day one, and it has come through.
Yeah.
The Charlotte stuff on SmackDown hasn't really been as prevalent. I don't think it was kind of like you just know what you're going to get with the Charlotte feud. So there's been a little build here and there to it, but I really like everything that's been going on with Lacey and Becky.
I think you're thoroughly right. I think she's going to beat Lacey, and then Lacey's going to interfere in a match with Charlotte and cost her the match.
And then they're going to continue that feud on Raw.
That's just brilliant.
It would make the most sense to me.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the non-title match here with your boys Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins taking on the Viking Raiders, which I have to say, I do like that name a lot better.
It's better. It's growing on you now.
So much better than the Viking experience, for God's sakes. I want to pay $20 for something I see in a museum. But the Viking Raiders, this feels good. This was I thought it was a good match, good back and forth. I thought Hawkins and Ryder's got some good shots in. Ended up losing, though, not the belt, but certainly it sets up the idea the Viking Raiders will be coming for the belts. So, did you enjoy this?
I mean, it's only a matter of time before the Viking experience. Viking Raiders are damn it. The Viking Raiders are tag team champions on Raw, it would seem. And so everyone else is kind of they're doing other feuds with other people in the meantime, but it's inevitable that they're going to win the tag team titles on Raw. I liked this match. I like seeing Zack Ryder and Hawkins get some TV time.
Yeah.
Zack Ryder showed some fire in the match. I hate seeing tag champions lose so quickly, and they've lost twice to the team now.
Yeah.
Does not bode well for their reign. But regardless, like, it's good seeing them on TV. It was a fun match. It wasn't bad or anything like that. And it made me laugh. I had my girlfriend and James McKenna, who helps me with the site, both he texted me. She said it to me that both were like, is there a finishing move called the Viking Experience now? And I was like, where have you guys been? This has been the thing since they switched the name. Where have you guys been?
I can accept it for a move. I can't accept it for a tag team name. But let me ask you this. Do you think they're getting right with the Viking Raiders that they messed up with the Ascension and AOP?
Yes and no. I think it's too hard to say so soon.
Okay.
Because they were doing a good job with the AOP until the whole AOPP thing happened.
Right.
I think they were doing well. I also believe that this Viking Raiders push. Once they win I think they're waiting for them to win the tag titles, and when they win the tag titles, I think AOP is coming back. I don't know when comes in. I'm trying to remember. I forget exactly when he's supposed to be back.
Okay.
But something within me seeing Razor's posts where he's just like so jacked lately, and he looks more ready than ever. I feel like they're gonna try again with the AOP and be more serious with them this time. At least I'm hoping.
Okay.
Although they should send them to SmackDown. SmackDown needs them way more.
That's a good point.
Way more.
Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, we get to the Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match. This was a good match, I thought.
Better than the WrestleMania match.
Certainly better than the WrestleMania match. Good back and forth. Maybe they worked on their chemistry a little bit more, but they seemed to flow more organically with each other, which was enjoyable to watch.
And also, Roman's been back in the ring longer now.
Yes, true.
That
Very
was his
good
first
point.
in-ring return, if I recall, right?
That's a very good point.
Wasn't that his singles return?
Right, singles return, right. But Reigns ends up taking this thing by DQ. And then, because they Shane McMahon and Elias run in and start beating the crap out of him. Miz, who we had seen in a backstage vignette, waiting for Shane, looking for Shane. He comes running in, clears the ring, at least chases Shane out, but they keep administering the beating on Reigns here. Do you like this? Do you like this setup as where we're going with Elias and Reigns? Because clearly it's going to be Elias and Reigns. I don't think it'll be McIntyre Reigns again, do you think?
I don't know. It definitely seemed more like they're going Elias and Reigns for sure, and maybe like McIntyre and Miz now or something like that.
Yeah.
Did I like it? The match was good.
Yeah.
Like I said, better than the WrestleMania match. It was a killer match. Just like a Haas battle. I liked it. Very WWE style. I didn't dislike the match. I think that the DQ finish made sense based on what's been going on with Roman Reigns on SmackDown since he switched over there. As you know, I don't care about this Miz Shane thing, so I didn't really care about Miz running out to save the day necessarily here. Miz and Roman Reigns being friends seems like a very odd pairing of like allies. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love all of this stuff. I just feel like if you're trying to fix some of the problems, like this is just classic what we've already watched. The kind of thing we already see all the time. So it didn't like blow me away or anything like that. But I liked the match. I will say the match itself was great. Very, very entertaining match. I also as much as I don't like the Miz and Shane stuff, I did enjoy the whole backstage thing with the chase scene. As silly as it was that Miz ran past a camera, pointed at someone hiding in a corner. I know it's just to like suspend that. The thing is, you can't expect the viewer to suspend their disbelief of the camera being there if you then instantly jump into a camera interview. Like that's the thing. If they just run by and then later Charlie interrupted,
right?
I would have been a little more okay with it. But the camera that Miz ignored for no reason was pointed at someone hiding. Miz ran by it. That person came out of hiding. And the camera got in his face, and Charlie interrupted with the microphone.
Yeah, and 2 cameramen. Someone doing the sound and someone with yeah.
Is Miz that dumb?
Yeah, right.
That was my thing. I go like, is Miz? Oh, not Miz the person, but the character. Is Miz the character that dumb that he didn't see that?
Right.
That blew my mind because I just was like, but okay, let's take my producer eyes out of it. Just as a pure fan, I did think it was funny. I liked Charlie ambushing in the moment and he'd be like, what are you, I'm clearly hiding. Like, what are you doing? You know, like you're blowing up my spot. Like, what are you doing? Made me laugh. And I even liked, because I feel like they did this a lot throughout the episode, they were trying different camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
They really were trying to change things up camera angle wise. There's a lot of things that seemed like they were trying last night. The camera angle wise, which I enjoyed, that like almost like world star up top shot of the fight between Miz and Shane in the parking lot. Even though it was silly that Shane got hit with a chair and still managed to come back and beat up Miz, who's a former world champion.
Right.
Thought that was a little silly myself, but that was
the best in the world.
Yeah, Super Shane, basically, who is impervious to fucking chair shots, apparently.
Super Shane.
But I will say overall, there's a lot of things they were trying.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that always bothers me in WWE, and it has for a long time, is I always loved the like straight to the camera promo The Rock would do, or whoever, when they're looking right at you and Dusty Rhodes, you know, right at you, Ric Flair, and it feels like they're talking to you and they're bringing you in, like you're with me. That's how you make someone. It's not just like pointing to the crowd. It's like when you're looking into the camera, knowing that millions of people are watching that and that millions of people are behind that lens, and you're drawing them to you. You're bringing that out. I love that. And I've always felt like that new angle they've done the past decade. It feels where it's the standard Mean Gene interview setup, but they're never looking directly at the camera. They're always looking off camera a little bit, like they're talking to someone over there, and they're always like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they're looking off camera, and it always and never resonated with me because it's like, who are they talking to?
Right.
Are they talking to me? Are they talking to a producer?
Yeah.
Who are they talking to? And you know, Daniel Bryan is the one who really, as of late, it felt like they were letting him do the opposite, where he was doing the like in the camera promos, and they're powerful and they're great. This whole episode, if I'm not mistaken, the promos were by themselves in one location, looking right at the camera. There was a Seth Rollins one, there was a Daniel Bryan one. I want to say there was a Kofi one too, maybe, but they were all like directly at the camera, and I really liked that. So I want to say, I know I said negative things, but I could see that they were trying certain things. Also, something I noticed on social media last night, I pointed this out, was that because of the ratings, it would seem that, you know, during Raw for at least the past 3 years, because I know from writing up things at night and stuff when I'm watching Raw and SmackDown, things happen on the show, and at least within 15 minutes, they've posted a clip of that on YouTube. 15, 20 minutes, something like that. They've got that clip on YouTube. And, you know, they're posting clips on social media. But last night, the social media clips were a little less when it came to the videos. And in the corner, it said, tune in live to Raw. Trying to get you to watch TV. And on YouTube, they didn't start uploading highlights until after Raw went off the air. Wow. So they're doing some different things to try and get people to watch. Clearly, I know I'm one who doesn't harp on ratings, but clearly they're a little worried about them. I can't not point out the obvious. And this next segment is, oh man. This next segment was ridiculous.
Ryan's reaction to the Lucha House Rules was my reaction to this segment. Because
I had the same reaction, don't worry.
I was this, and then what we're talking about here is the Revival getting oozy hot in their shorts from the Usos, and those poor guys having to play that stuff occurring in their pants, getting hot, getting icy, getting all that kind of all that stuff, freaking out, you know, doing weird gyrations as they come up the ramp, then
scooting their butt like a dog.
All of that. Fuck me, man. It's so embarrassing, and I don't know why they go along with it. I don't know why Dash is go, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to do it. Fire me. Keep me off the air. I don't care. I'm not going to do this stupid shit. It's a dumb angle. Unless they like the angle. I don't know. But to me, to us from the outside, it looks absolutely stupid and ridiculous.
But there's not often you're going to go tell your boss, you know, I'm not doing this.
No, Stone Cold did it all the time.
They're not Stone Cold.
Stone Cold's go home.
Stone Cold didn't do it until he became Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, these guys have families. These guys have kids. Like, these guys have mortgages. Like, these guys have careers.
You could be affecting that by doing an angle like this, because maybe the fans never come back around to you because they think you're a joke.
See, I don't think that happens. I think it's the opposite of that. You know, they can use this to their advantage when they leave. Like, look what they used to make us do. Like, that's what we're not doing that like that anymore, you know? So I think they can use to their advantage with the right person behind them or something like that. However, yeah, I'm gonna try to cuss because there's a sign that saying watch your language. And it's not even for us, but it's been getting me this whole time.
All right.
It was offensive, like, and not offensive like saying the N-word or something like that. I'm saying offensive to wrestling fans, where it's just like, like there's a report out that the rival don't want to sign their new contract.
$500,000 per person. And
you know what? It is very obvious that they're making them pay for it. Like, and that is ridiculous. Like, imagine if, like, on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when Aunt Viv was behind the scenes, OG Aunt Viv behind the scenes, saying like, if she'd been like, no, this doesn't make sense for my character, and so like, okay, fine, we're gonna go make Aunt Viv bark like a dog until we get a new Aunt Viv. That's ridiculous. Like, if that was happening in any other entertainment medium, people are like, really? You're just embarrassing this person because they won't do because they don't want to sign a new contract? Like, imagine if I was here and I told the boss here at Collider, like, I don't want to sign a new deal, and so they just made me go on Schmodown or go on Collider Live and just start doing dumb shit like that. It would be so bad. It'd be so bad. It'd be so bad. Like, and I the thing is this. What was even more angering about it to me was that the club versus the Revival would have been a banger.
Hell yeah.
Two teams that people are like, we want to see more of. The fans are who you want to. This show should not be to make Vince McMahon cackle backstage. Right. This show is a multi-million-dollar machine. Billion-dollar machine. Yep. It should be done with the mind of making this machine more money. Yep. Not with the idea of like, we're going to embarrass people because they're not following by the rules. And I understand it's the wrestling business and things like that happen throughout history, but it's 2019 and things are changing. And this should be one of them. It's like, it's a business. Yeah. These are businessmen. These are actors. They should not, I mean.
Well, it's not even that, Ryan. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. It's all that. Plus, you're also short-circuiting the Usos. The Usos look ridiculous here, doing this stuff, violating the privacy of these guys and videotaping them. This is frat humor. This is college boy frat humor that these dudes, I thought that they had figured them out creatively. They were incredible on Smackdown.
They were these tough badasses that rap, that were cool, had these cool dark promos. And now they're holding Usi Juicy,
whatever the hell that is, Usi Hot or whatever it is. And then you have him shaving, like all of it is just, it's undercutting the Usos. You're embarrassing the Revival. And I think you're absolutely right, Ryan. You take away the possibility of building up another tag team, which is Gallows and Anderson, with some more on TV time, ring time, and have a great back and forth between these four men who know how to wrestle and have wrestled all over the world, to have them have a great match at the end. Hell, you could have turned it into a six-man match, or a six-man tag match, and had the Usos run and be part of it as well. That's how you sell your damn product. Ain't no stupid thing with Usi Hot. That's absolutely ridiculous. Undercuts everybody.
I also feel, when you talk about the undercutting thing,
damages merch too.
One of the things I was always told, and to both of those points, one of the things I was always told by someone was to look at, and this is, I guess, like, this is how I look at people, but when you're looking at the wrestling business, you're trying to think of Vince McMahon's mind, is to look at all the wrestlers as independent revenue streams. That each one is their own independent revenue stream. Right. And the more you build up that revenue stream, like the better you treat those revenue streams, the more money you're going to make off of them. Like, you build up those revenue streams so that more people buy merch, more people want to watch them, more people buy their toys, more people spend money on these independent revenue streams. Yeah. To me, a segment like this brings down the value of all six people involved. Exactly. It brought down the value of Gallows and Anderson because they look like idiots just standing there for 10 minutes when they haven't even, when they also were just brought over. Right. It makes the Revival look like idiots because they're just scooting around. They're like,
it's Looney Tunes characters.
Yes. And when these are like tough, badass wrestlers, like, and it makes the Usos look bad because it's like, why are they doing this stupid childish humor that pleases nobody, So I don't know. Also at the same time, it's one of those things where I say all this, I act this way, we both feel this way, I see what the internet says, but then when I watch the show, I do hear the audience reacting to these things too. So it's also like a catch-22 because you do hear the audience making fun of the revival, which is what you want technically out of this.
Yeah, you do, but you also don't.
They're cheering for they were cheering when they brought that up. It wasn't like a groan.
But those are fans in the audience, right? They're like caught up in the moment, caught up in the furor of it. Look, people booed Roman Reigns when he walked out tonight. Or last night. He's still not 100% over with the fans. So regardless of everything he's been through. And with this situation, yes, the fans get caught up and they're like, oh, it's funny, blah, 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 blah. But then in the long run, though, people watching who are not in that arena and caught up in the fervor of being at a live event for WWE are watching this thing going, why do I care? Even when you put them in a match together, you've already undercut my caring of what happens here because you've completely demolished their
credibility.
Appeal. Their credibility, exactly, and their appeal. And that's important to me as a fan. So yeah, there's 20,000 people in an arena. There's millions watching. So there's a difference here in that way. And I think that's the mistake they're making. Like you said, short-term goal versus long-term goal. The long-term goal is getting the millions.
Yes.
Not the 20,000 in the auditorium.
And short-term goal is like, yeah, your short-term, this was funny.
Yes.
It does make me laugh.
Great.
Seeing them scoot around, it's funny.
Sure.
But long-term, you've made these guys look like jokes.
When they were pushing hard to become serious contenders for the title. You made such a deal about them fighting for the title, getting their opportunities to win. And when they won it, you put them all over social media with those pictures.
You also already have teams that could fill a role like that.
Yeah.
Goofy teams are plenty in WWE.
Yes.
You could have done that with Heavy Machinery. Like, I don't know.
B team.
Yeah, you could do and I know they're not the ones that are feuding the Usos, but like, I'm just saying, like, I get that Edge and Christian made a great career out of being goofy people, goofy tag team. But that's not how the revival have been built.
Exactly.
And that's not how I think they're going to be built. It just feels like they're trying to lower their value.
Yep. And that's terrible business, as you said earlier. Terrible business. All right, it's not what's best for business. All right, we got to wrap up here in a few minutes. Lars Sullivan completely destroys No Way Jose. That was I didn't. Why is he still in the company? I don't. I guess he's just here for this. He could have scooted around with Icy Hot in his shorts, I guess. But Lars comes out and completely demolishes everybody in this situation, and it's. Once again, it works. I think it works as well. But we're getting to that point where I need a match.
Not only that, but I go like. Because yes, effective, obviously. We've been enjoying these things. My problem was in the what's the right word? I keep harping on continuity, but like, I want to say, like, they said there was going to be 3 people.
Yeah.
There were 3 people. Then Lars comes, they said there was going to be 3 people. Then Elias comes out, because we're not going to count Shane, I guess. We won't count Shane, fine, because Shane's allowed to be on both shows. He's a McMahon.
Okay, 4.
So Elias, that was 4. And then Lars comes out, 5 now, and so I was like, wait, what? But also it's that tentpole thing you talked about. Like, I'm following these tentpoles along the way of someone's story. And Lars' story has been very confusing. Lars showed back up, right, on the Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
But then he was on the Smackdown after Mania. Then he was doing like both until they finally said, okay, no, Superstar Shakeup is here.
Yeah.
He's on Raw.
Yeah.
Actually, just kidding. He's on Smackdown.
Yep.
Actually, just kidding. He can do either one.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I? Pick one. Like,
Yeah.
I can follow. Like, it's just like, it's confusing. It's just like, wait, what am I? I'm trying to get invested.
Yeah.
And every time I get invested, you kick out my spike from the ground and switch it up, and it's like, well, let me follow something.
It's trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's trying to have your cake and eat it too. Let's do this thing. Let's do a Superstar Shakeup. Make a big deal about Superstar Shakeup. All this jazz. But then let's also have characters that can jump both brands because we've got a Fox deal coming up. Like, all of it is just, and I get it. It's your business. You can do whatever you want to. It's owned by the McMahon's. They do have board members, but it's owned by the McMahon's. They're able to do what they want to do. I get it. But we're able to criticize what you're doing as much as we like as well, and fans are as well. And the ratings, it can't be a surprise that the ratings are reflecting that criticism and that frustration amongst the fans.
And like I said, I'm usually very positive about WWE. I try to highlight the positives.
You do.
I'll accentuate a few negatives, but I do, for the most part, try to talk about what I do like. This episode just really got to me. Like, my girlfriend and I both, we were watching it every segment. We were just looking at each other like, what was the point of that? Like, this
Yeah.
wasn't good. And when
What
it was
is
over,
happening?
we were just saying to each other, like, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
There was really no redeeming qualities of the show.
I can't deny.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up with the last match. That's Kofi Kingston defending his championship, his WWE championship against Daniel Bryan. Good match, not as good as the WrestleMania match, but still a good match.
They had less time this time.
Exactly, and it's a Raw show, so you're not going to bring out the pay-per-view level most of the time, level of matches there. But this was fantastic, good match. He won clean, which pushes it even more that Kofi is the legitimate champion. But I found this to be odd because weren't we going the Kevin Owens route? Why is Daniel Bryan getting, what is this all about? Is Daniel Bryan going to jump to Raw? What is Daniel Bryan's, or is this his way of getting Daniel Bryan off the air for a while after he loses? Because he said, I went into a 1 month sabbatical after this loss, blah, blah, blah. So is this going to send him down another loss? Another sabbatical, rather?
If anything, I felt like it was to bring him back to TV, but I agree with you. You were like, well, wait, he's feuding Kevin Owens right now. Like,
Right.
what's the point of this match? It really just felt like I said earlier, to pop a rating. It was like WrestleMania rematches to kind of like get people to view, to draw viewers in.
Right,
Which I know that's the point of Raw in general, but when they're lower on the ratings, it feels like they do certain things to really try and bring people in. WrestleMania rematch, the match you all loved at WrestleMania.
Right.
Rematch. So I don't think it'll affect the Kevin Owens storyline too much. But I do think that it was a good match. I enjoyed the match a lot. I feel like, I actually, for a moment, there were moments where I felt like Daniel Bryan was going to win.
Yeah.
And that's always good.
That's always
when
good.
there's near falls that are actually getting me, which is why I loved the Kofi versus Daniel Bryan match so much as it was, because so many times it just near fall after near fall and all this stuff where you were like, like who's going to win? And this did help mirror that a little bit.
Yeah.
I do feel like for the people who maybe didn't watch WrestleMania, a big win to solidify, show a big main event win for Kofi was a good idea. But I don't know if it was necessarily. I like when Raw ends with a cliffhanger. I think those are important. It makes you want to tune in for next week. And there wasn't really any at the end of the show. There wasn't anything where I go like, I have to tune in next week, or even SmackDown. Right. Where I go like, the only thing I have to see at SmackDown is who from Raw is going to be on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Now. And that's, I don't know, it's confusing.
My fear is that, and some people have speculated about this, that they blame the ratings on Kofi being champion.
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't think that's
I hope
true.
they don't do that.
I don't think that's accurate.
And take the strap off him because of that.
SmackDown hasn't been terrible in the ratings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we should talk one last thing. We didn't mention it earlier in the run of the show, but the Bray Wyatt vignette. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that vignette? Did you think it was a little weird?
This one was weird, but I love
out
them.
for Rampaging Rabbit or whatever his name is.
I know, Rambling Rabbit, dude. Poor Rambling Rabbit.
His bohemian ways.
I see this new theory online all the time where people think that Waylon Mercy is going to be involved with Bray Wyatt now because it's Mercy the Buzzard.
Oh, interesting.
And then he said something about a picnic last night. And I guess it was like an old Waylon Mercy promo where he did like a thing at a picnic and like, I don't know. I've seen that floated around on social media. I don't know if I think that Bray Wyatt needs a manager because he's so good on the mic, but it could be interesting still, like that Waylon Mercy kind of like pulled him out of the whatever when he was being nice. Bray Wyatt kind of pulled him back out of that after he was last seen or whatever. I don't know. I regardless, I liked it. I liked that it makes you guess that it's very much guessing. I liked the little kids weren't smiling at all. I like that it's slowly getting. I like that it's slowly becoming darker and darker.
Yep.
I like that.
And he's embracing the darkness of it more and more.
Yeah.
Which is like unsettling as hell.
Yes.
Because that's a big dude.
I very much think that this is all going to be in his head.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. And hopefully that will be the way it goes down. But like Lars and like Zayn, we needed a match. And so at some point, this is going to break. We're going to need a match here with Bray Wyatt down the road.
I'm okay with this going for like 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And no matches?
No. As long as there's changes.
I can't be on that chain.
As long as there's changes within the segments, like we're getting development along the way. Yeah, I'd be super into that.
Okay.
Because then it's like we have then it's like his character's an actual TV host. We've been watching the show for 6 months, and it does help solidify that. I'd be totally okay with it.
Okay.
That's me. I don't know.
All I would not. I got to see a match. It's got to lead to something, for God's sakes. We'll see. All right, well, thanks, everybody, for watching this episode of the Raw Recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. Let us know what we missed or what you thought about the show last night. Did you hate it as much as Ryan did, or did you think it was okay? Let us know in the comments section below. Ryan, please tell people where they can follow and read everything.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories throughout the week. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where the videos are. You can find myself and John Rocha doing these Raw and Smackdown recaps. You can find me, Elijah Bates, and Jamie Iovine doing Wrestling Sheet Radio, where we discuss all the top stories of the week. Rocha made a guest appearance this week.
Yeah,
it was pretty
it was a lot of
rad.
fun.
People seem to like it. We got into a very random discussion on who should be considered the top 10 wrestlers of all time, which
may be coming back.
I like it. I'm
Yeah.
into it. If we get it, we're working on
There
something.
are plans.
But yeah, people definitely seem to like our conversation on that. So go make sure you check that out. I think you guys will dig it. I'm at Ryan Satin on social media. The site is at Wrestling Sheet. And also you can find the audio of all these shows on all podcast platforms. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio.
There you go. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And don't forget, tomorrow we have a SmackDown Live recap after we watch the goings on tonight. We'll see what Raw stars show up on SmackDown, because it's all wild cards now, I guess. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great Tuesday.
ProWrestlingSheet.com